How you doing, Paul?
Oh, not bad. It's been a long week.
Oh yeah? Like bad week? That sounds bad.
Not necessarily bad, just work, the
Oh,
grind,
okay.
the daily grind sort of thing.
I guess I have yet to really have a sustained period of daily grind type stuff, so just what with being a student and all.
Yeah,
Dragging that out, because it's pretty sweet, but next year is going to
that
be...
is pretty good.
Next year...
I really miss being a student.
Yeah.
So,
Not that I'm not busy, but, it's different. It's a different kind of busy.
yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you. I feel like I'm always
like,
busy, but I mean, I know I'm not, because there are people that do work like 24 hours a day, like doctors and stuff. So, I mean, I have nothing to really complain about, but it's
yeah.
okay because it's just what people do.
Whereas mine is like, oh man, if I don't make it to the library before 5, I can't get my MF Doom and Mos Def CDs. So then what I'm going to do?
MF Doom is pretty good.
He's pretty good.
Pretty good.
It was a live album, so I don't know. It's probably not the best way to really listen to a full bit of his business, but he was pretty good.
Or like anybody. Like, as...
Yeah, like I didn't know that when I pressed, place a hold on that at the library, and then it showed up, and I was like, whatever. It's like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
The set picks up like halfway through, live from Planet X. Check it out. It's available at your local internet.
And library, I guess.
And your library.
There
And you
go.
could also buy it and give that dude money.
Yeah, you should probably do that.
Yeah, but the government helped me get this one.
So we decided on a name finally for our new thing.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it.
I mean, it's really just changing one word, so from now on, instead of just limiting ourselves to movies, even though we'll probably still talk about movies and television quite a bit,
yeah,
we're now the media monks, and since media is a pretty broad word, including stuff like in the news and stuff on the internet and whatever, we can actually pretty much talk about like everything we want to talk about now.
Yeah, like I saw this hilarious meme, haha, media.
Yeah, so I mean, stuff like that, I don't know. For us, it's better. For anyone listening, it's obviously better because there were too many times where it's like, oh, hey, I'm Nathan, I watched 20 movies. I'm like, oh, hey, I'm Paul, I played one video game and watched one TV show.
It's like, yeah, let's go in depth on some really, weird films that no one has seen. And yeah. So we'll only we'll still do that, but it'll be like the most pertinent stuff that just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what have you been up to anyway?
Alright. Well, ponies have just been happening in the background at all times. But
yeah. We kind of covered that a little bit last time, but
yeah, I'm not going to
Ponyland?
Really dwell on that. Now I'm all caught up, so it's just a matter of watching the new episodes as they happen. So Saturday mornings are fun.
That's a pretty good feeling with any TV show.
Yeah, there's like this really great live stream kind of community around it, like thousands of dudes in a chat room just talking about the show as it's happening. It's just like, this is surreal.
I spent most of my night watching live streams tonight, actually.
Yeah, I should probably look into some of that more. Or like when some websites I'm into do podcast live, it's just like why aren't I watching those
today?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did a radio show thing from their new little podcast room. It's a really nice room, and Ryan was actually doing it was a video podcast, not podcast. It was like that Whiskey Media radio show, but it's not Whiskey Media anymore, so they don't have a name for it.
Oh, okay.
Radio Dave, I guess.
Yeah,
Dave
I remember those.
There. Yeah, so it was just that, and they went on until about 7:30 at night. After that, I watched Video Games Live with Tommy Tallarico. You know that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're starting to broadcast that now.
I've been watching a lot of Meg 64 stuff lately, so Tommy Tallarico shows up on occasion.
He seems like a really nice dude. During the intermission, he was talking to all the fans. Like, people would ask him questions in the chat, he would read the question and then answer it, and it's like, wow, that's pretty cool considering you only have like half an hour, and you have to get ready for like another hour of just playing music the whole time, so good on you, I guess.
Wait, so have you ever been to the local Video Games Live when it came here?
Yeah, and he let out that it's coming back in November this year.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah,
it's just
really
like,
good.
I was totally at those a couple times, so weird, huh?
Yeah, they're
one
really
of those. Good. No, I just mean like, we could have crossed paths. Like, I could have budged in line to buy my Pac-Man t-shirt, and you wouldn't
To
have
be
even
fair,
known
though,
it was
since
me.
we're into a lot of similar stuff, I'm sure we've seen each other at a lot of things and just never knew.
Like we're just at the Dark Knight midnight screening or something.
Well, maybe not, because we're kind of far apart in the city.
Well, yeah.
But at some point, I'm sure our paths have crossed quite a few times, because it's actually a pretty small city that's only recently pretty big.
Well, it's like 1 million plus. Bigger than Seattle.
Yeah, but I mean, we both grew up here, and we both...
Not the greater Seattle area.
Grew up in, like, Airdrie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just really kind of weird. But, yeah.
Alright, I'm just, making an observation.
Yep.
Alright, Video Games Live, Time to Tell Rico. Have you watched a lot of Mega 64? Like, their stuff?
I've seen, like, all of their little video game skits and their fake commercials and stuff like that.
Okay,
I haven't seen, like, their full DVDs, and I don't watch, like, just the weird stuff they do, mainly because I don't want to, but I'm sure it's okay.
There's tons of it, too. It's just infinite. Those guys are posting videos all the time. The one I went through was Mega 64 Time, which is kind of a collection of their, commercials
like
and stuff, and some of their skits. But then the second disc is just, like, skits that weren't approved and just like weird behind the scenes junk and whatever, and I thought that was pretty funny.
Weren't approved by who?
Like two of them I guess were supposed to be Far Cry commercials, and then Ubisoft was just like, dude, this is just gross. You can't like they allow that, but it was a pretty good one. Anyway, yeah. Wait, what's the most important thing? Video games, movies, or television?
I know you've been kind of dying to talk about Mass Effect a little bit.
Yeah, okay. I guess we'll start with that. Mass Effect 3, it's a video game. Came out.
Yeah, it's been under some heat, BioWare specifically, about the ending, and we are going to be talking a little bit about the ending. So if you still haven't played it, if you're the one person that wanted to play it and hasn't yet, you should probably turn this off for right now.
Yeah, and you should probably play it. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, like, just straight up.
Yeah,
just
if you played the other ones, you should play it. If you haven't played any of them, you don't care?
Then you probably don't care.
Yeah, so...
Like, at this point, that's probably fair to say, right? Because of all the hype that 2 got, and, like, all the good scores and stuff.
Yeah, that was, like, 2 years ago,
really
so...
cared, they probably would have picked it up by now.
Yeah, so, but still, friendly warning, we're going to be talking about the end.
So, you were kind of pissed off.
I was a bit, just at the internet, because all last week, all I was seeing was just, like, kind of spoilery stuff creeping up.
And people, like, screaming at BioWare.
Just getting so angry, and I was just like, my brain immediately was just like, okay, well, something really, really ridiculous must happen in this game. Like, it actually turns out it was all a dream, or, Shepard takes off, like, her face, and turns out it was someone else the whole time, or something stupid. And then when I saw what actually happened, I was just like, "What? That was great. What are you guys talking about?" And I don't know what people are talking about. And okay, what was your experience like with the ending? What is your beef with it? Because I thought it was amazing.
My biggest beef is that, like, I liked the ending quite a bit the first time, and then when I replayed it, the last part there to watch the other ones, it's literally the exact same cutscene with, like, Shepard's character model doing something different, like for the beginning part, and different colors.
Well, different colors has big impact though on what happens post like reset, basically, like life form wise.
What was that?
I mean,
no, but I mean, like, it's literally like, what's his name, Joker, and then like the person that you were romancing. Like, it's the exact same thing. The Normandy crashing. Like, I just wish each ending had a different outcome. Just because this is, like, the end of the series, right? So it should have been blown out.
No, dude. Okay, first of all, from what I've seen of the endings, I did the blue ending just because the one thing I guess I will critique of the ending, I wasn't sure which direction was what at the end. Like, it was like,
okay,
oh, do I go left to try to control them, or is it... I think it's left, and then it was just like, oh... Alright.
It's kind of poorly explained, but
it was like kind of a cinematic moment, so I was into it anyway. And I didn't hate what I saw. I guess to replay it, would you have to beat that entire last mission again?
Yeah.
That hella sucks, because I didn't like that last mission. It was like 2 hours. So
yeah, and like, what difficulty were you playing on?
Normal, which wasn't that bad, but...
No, it wasn't bad, but that last wave where it's just like 2 Banshees and like 3 or 4...
Brutes or whatever.
Brutes or whatever?
Yeah,
that was pretty crazy. I was thinking, oh man, if I play this on Insanity, I'm never passing this part.
For me, it was like I started playing the last mission last night, and it was like 2:30 in the morning or something. I was just like, oh man, is this just gonna keep going?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it ever ends.
And it was like,
I know.
Yeah, I think around 3 or something, I was just like, I'm just gonna straight up pause this and go to bed.
And when I was editing our last talk, actually, it was funny because I had said something about how by the end you're just like, okay, I just want to finish the story now, because there's just so much fighting at that.
Like, I like the fighting in the game overall, but it was just like,
but at that
the game
point,
basically
like,
turned
okay,
into Gears
of
War.
Close, just let me do it.
Yeah, it was just like, no, you're just gonna play Gears for like a couple hours, and you can't save. That was the thing. Like, I kept pausing to be like after I talked to the crew and kind of did my final check-in on how they're doing, I was like, all right, now I'm just gonna save and go to, so just keep, and then I just had to keep playing, and yeah. I was worried my 360 would overheat or something, and it would be the worst situation ever, because it's just like, hey, I'm in the final hour of Mass Effect 3, and I need to send my 360 away. So, can I crash at your house and play this? Or something, you know? But anyway, getting to the ending itself, like, aside from me choosing the wrong thing or whatever, like, I thought it was great at kind of taking the gravity of the situation into account of like, no, they're gonna end all life, you understand. Everything will die. So you sacrificing yourself is no big deal at all, really. Like, you have to do that. You don't really have much choice in the matter. So, like, there are some people that's like, why is there no happy ending? Dude, end of life. This is a happy ending, because life didn't end. So I was like, you know, for me, it didn't even get into Joker coming out and stuff. The door just kind of opens, and it was like, oh, somebody's alive, and I was like stoked. Like, I was still totally into it.
Okay, so you haven't seen the red ending.
I have not seen the red ending. I saw the green one, which looked really cool. Like, it's tweaked
green
some.
And blue are essentially the same.
No, but synthetics merge with organics, like, dude. That changes everything.
No, it doesn't. Listen, do you want me to spoil the red?
Okay.
Shepard lives.
What happens then? Like, how?
I don't know.
Oh, wait, I guess that would make sense, because you successfully control them, right?
No, see, this is the thing. Like, the first time I played the game, I was just like, what the hell's going on? And then I'm like, hey, this might be like a hallucination or something. And I was totally into that idea, so everything I was like...
Oh, like when the kid shows up and everything?
With the idea that, like, hey, this is probably in Shepard's mind, is a hallucination. I was so into that, and I was totally okay with that, and everything was fine. And then there's actually, after I did the ending and, like, all that, there's actually a theory on the internet called the indoctrination theory.
Where Cerberus and, implants or whatever?
They build up the, like, hallucination idea to a point where, like, I'm totally of the mindset that that should be what happened, because they have so much evidence to back up the indoctrination theory that if that's what BioWare was doing all along, that's some brilliant writing.
Wait, but then what would have actually happened in regards to the Reapers? Like, they won and it's all really sad? It's actually a grim ending?
Well, the whole thing was essentially, you know when Shepard's running towards the, what's it called, the beam to go up to the Citadel?
Yeah, and how badly that goes?
He gets smoked by the
I know.
thing,
like, that was,
gets back up.
And like after that, you're pretty fucked up. Like, you're charred up. But at the same time, it's like, dude, that was like a Reaper laser.
The idea is that whole time he's actually unconscious.
Yeah.
And the Reapers are trying to finish the indoctrination they started when they first met him.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, everything that happens after that is happening in his mind, and basically the Elusive Man is the renegade part of Shepard that is completely indoctrinated. And the Paragon part is Anderson in the Citadel, because they don't actually talk to each other. They don't look at each other at all. They both talk to Shepard.
Wait. Oh, and you're saying, like, in the end cutscene where they're with you. That's actually all... They don't interact with each other at all?
They, like,
I think he makes fun of
each other, but
Anderson.
They don't look at each other. They both talk directly to Shepard the whole time.
Okay, but I guess you could make the argument they're kind of, you know, identity style, like alternate personas of sorts.
Well, and then another thing to back up their theory is that, you know, when the Elusive Man quote unquote shows the power of the Reapers and makes you shoot Anderson in the side.
Yeah.
when you're sitting down with Anderson looking out before you get the call from Hackett from out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Shepard actually like puts his hand to his side and there's blood, indicating that like he actually shot himself.
Oh, gets all Fight Club on it.
It's like I think half an hour video.
Okay.
And they explain everything so in depth that if that's all true, this is absolutely brilliant writing.
Well,
but
is it like
it wasn't?
But
it's so inaccessible.
That's not brilliant writing. Because then what the hell happened with the Reapers? You just don't get to know, really. Like,
well, the thing is, like, by the end, you have the 3 paths. You have blue, green, and red.
Yeah.
And like, I'm doing a horrible job of explaining this. Like, you should watch the video when we're done. It's really pretty interesting. The idea is that controlling them and like synthesis are both kind of them taking over, because the red one is destroying the Reapers, right?
Well, the blue one,
which they obviously would not want you to do. So
the blue one, you mean? Because it seemed to destroy stuff. I wasn't 100% clear.
I think it was red. I mean, it's been about a week and a half, right? So.
Yeah, okay. Like, it's odd, because I watched the cutscene in the green one, too, and, like, kind of the same thing happens, like, all Tron style, the Reapers kind of change color a bit, and then they fly away. So, was it like, oh, they turned good, kind of like Rinsler?
No, the red one shows them completely being decimated, and then at the end, Shepard's back on Earth in concrete rubble, and he takes a breath, and that's when it cuts away.
Oh, weird. Okay. I guess I'll see that one.
So that's why I was saying the green and the blue are kind of similar, because in both of them, Shepard dies and the Reapers just kind of go away.
Yeah.
Whereas the red one is completely like, no, the Reapers are totally, like, destroyed.
But what happens post-credits then? Is there still the story?
Yeah, it's still the same
thing. So it's like...
That part is really badly acted out.
Okay. I like the idea of it, but yeah, the actual delivery of it was kind of corny.
Okay, just one more story.
Yeah, but
it's so bad.
But them saying like, tell us another story of the Shepherd or whatever, and kind of this legendary status you now have. Like, it was like, oh, dude, Christ parallels. This is awesome. Like, I was into that.
And that part's so weird because, like, after that is said, it shows the little pop-up thing.
Oh,
it's like you can now continue building the legend of your Shepherd.
Yeah, the only part of the ending I can, like, take legitimate, like, oh man, you probably just shouldn't have done that, was have that pop up. Like, it just seems kind of cheap to, like...
Totally.
Like, it's kind of like when you see a great movie, at the end, it's like, hey, this character is going to return in this new... It's like, this is lame now. Like, don't do that. Just don't do that. So, yeah, if I was to tweak anything, it would be that, but I'm not going to, like, start sending letters to the Better Business Bureau and start campaigning outside EA's offices or something.
In all honesty, even though, like, okay, so when I first beat the game, I was just kind of overwhelmed with a sense of, like, oh, wow. Like, I didn't really think much about it until the next morning, because for one thing, it was about 3 in the morning. I was tired, and, like, I almost, like, shed a tear. It's pretty touching.
During the game?
During, like,
or reflecting.
The end part, right?
Well,
where you're making the decision and, like...
I straight up did. I was, like, a single tear moment. It was great. I was like, yeah video games, they finally did it. It's amazing.
And I don't know if it was because of the ending or if it was because, like, I knew that this was the end of, like, a series I had grown to love so much.
Same thing kind of happened with Lost. Like, it was like, that wasn't the greatest finale, but it's over now. So I got kind of overwhelmed a little bit, despite
the next day when I went back and did the other endings.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed because I had wished they were different from each other in the sense, like, the actual cutscene at the end was different. Just so I could see different stuff.
I'm still kind of like, how do you do that without one of them being kind of shitty or something? Like, you risk kind of losing some poignancy or whatever by making it a literal choose-your-own-adventure novel. Because some of those endings in a choose-your-own-adventure novel are dumb. Like, you go, ha, alright, and then you flip and find the real way.
No, it was just totally the fanboy part of me that just wanted to see more of, like, something happening. But, like, because I felt after I had seen the ending, like, I had seen the ending, right? And then the other options was the same ending with a different kind of outcome.
Yeah, like a slightly different... although Shepard living is pretty crazy. Like, that is a significant change.
Yeah, but I mean...
Like, I'm honestly a little bit annoyed that ending exists, because I think Shepard should die, because it makes it way better. It's like what Metal Gear Solid 4 failed at doing. This game was like, no, fuck that. We're going with this. We're going all the way with this. Sacrifice.
Yeah, but didn't some part of you know that they would have something like that, where like, oh no, Shepard didn't die. Look.
No, I honestly hoped they went all like it's like, oh, you were 2/3 there now. So now I'm a little bit annoyed with the ending, but for the opposite reasons most people are. But
yeah, I don't honestly understand what people wanted, because like if they had gotten their stupid little happy story and
yeah, then it's literally
ending,
every video game ever made. You know,
and you know what? Part of me would be kind of okay with that, because I like seeing a happy ending just as the next person. But like, no matter what BioWare would have done, someone would have been upset, and it's just...
No, you see, like, where this gets annoying for me is because, like, if they did just go, like, no, dude, like, they banded together and good totally 100% triumphed over evil, you're Final Fantasy. Like, when it's, like, something giant and horrifying that should destroy all life comes along, well, don't worry, we got our 7 plucky characters who are, you know, they're gonna take care of it. Like, that's like Final Fantasy 9, it's like, oh, I'm an ultimate god of destruction. Oh, don't worry, I got a sword. And it's like, this is stupid. Like, on some level, it's just, this is profoundly stupid. This makes no sense. If this thing's really all that, everything should be in big trouble. Here, things are actually in really big trouble, and you actually, you know, you lose a lot of people along the way regardless, right? Like, is that true?
Yeah. But, like,
and then
it wouldn't have mattered, because no matter what BioWare did, there would have been angry people.
Right. So I'm just wondering, like, how, is this a vocal minority, or is this, like, larger than you'd think? Like, people didn't like the Lost ending, right? People didn't like the Sopranos ending. Like, this happens all the time.
The thing, I know, but the thing that's weird about this one is that it's literally changing the way people view the industry.
Well, yeah.
Like, have you been reading any of the coverage on what's going on and stuff? It's basically like the press now hates the industry and hates the customers. The customers now hate the developers, and the developers now hate, like, everybody.
Oh.
Like, everybody's just so angry about stupid stuff.
Oh, that's terrible. I thought you meant more like other media might have to be like, wow, people are really upset over this. Like, this is like if a TV series ended. Like, and maybe this will make people take video games a little more seriously. I thought I was doing a positive spin.
Where, like, the press that are, like, either way, press always like gets hated on by one side.
Video game press, you mean?
Video game press,
okay.
Not real.
Like, I'm talking like this. They were getting quotes from like outside, like Hollywood people were kind of giving some thoughts on this or whatever. But okay. So you're saying video game press is getting hated on by who?
By everybody, but I mean they always do, right? No matter what side.
For what? What, like, for their reviews and stuff? You mean?
Basically, the ones taking the side of the fans are being, like, dubbed as traitors to the industry, and that they should know better on how the industry works and blah blah blah.
Like, respect BioWare's decision to tell their story their way and whatever.
And the ones taking the side of the industry are, of course, being bought out by BioWare and IGN and, like, everybody, right?
Yeah, like the one.
It's a huge conspiracy and nobody's winning.
The most absurd stuff I'm hearing is people being like, "Oh, BioWare totally sold out to EA. They made them change the ending." And it's just like, why would
there's
this ending?
Conspiracy theories going on now that, like, the writers of Mass Effect didn't even write it, and that, like, they were forced to do stuff. Like, it's just
like
stupid.
It was like someone came in at the last minute. It's like, this seemed really thought out. Like, if it was the weird kind of, like, rug pull, something totally nonsense happened, but, like, I didn't think that happened at all. Like, even that it was a little kid, like, that kind of made sense to me, because an ancient Prothean program would have to adapt to whatever life form kind of shows up. To,
well, see, and, like the
contact
indoctrination
style
theory thing, going back to that again.
Yeah, like, it's just, like, pieces of her memory or whatever.
It was all in Shepard's head, because, again, if you look in the game, like, at the beginning, no one else but Shepard sees the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, like...
Well, I mean, except, you know, the people on the landing pad.
No one saw him. No one looked at him at all.
What? He gets in a helicopter of sorts.
Yeah, but no one said anything. No one looked at him. No one touched him.
Oh, okay. So he's a ghost child.
Or probably just a figment of his imagination. Anyways, I'm gonna...
You keep saying his, and I don't get it, because it's a lady, yo. Shepard's a woman, man. What are you doing?
No, I play as default Shepard.
Sorry. Okay, that's actually getting to something, like, I'm wondering about. Like, is the reason some people are really upset with the ending because they've made certain choices and stuff over the courses of the games, and they've customized their character and stuff and gotten really attached to that. And like people are saying, like this is out of character for Shepard to do some of the things that happen at the end of the game. Maybe that's true for some people. This made perfect sense with my Shepard in my brain. So maybe I just like synced up well with the developers.
What arguments are being made that their Shepard wouldn't do it? Because they give you clear...
The one thing I saw, like, someone was saying when they jumped into the beam, there was just no flash of the person they had spent time developing a relationship with since Mass Effect 2, which was Miranda, I guess, in this case.
Yeah, but I mean, that's because of what goes on in the story.
Because Miranda's dead already?
Yeah, so like...
I know, but that should also... Yeah, like, I guess their argument would be like, but that would extra resonate, because, like, why would you jump in there? Because, you know, revenge or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess they didn't feel it took enough information from their choices and decisions and put him...
So is the idea that, like, how they played the last two games, they shouldn't have been given a choice at the end? It should have just played out with their decisions?
Or it should have... I guess some people are saying, like, it should have kind of taken into account stuff like Fallout does, where it at least kind of summarizes what you did, specifically you, but not like, as cheaply maybe as Fallout, because I didn't like that.
I'm going to completely go in the opposite direction and say if I was working on a game, I would not spend, like... 100 hours just localizing content for one ending.
Yeah.
Through, like,
it seemed
possibly thousands of different hours of stuff.
Permutations of... I know, like, I was like, this is just impractical at some point to expect BioWare to do that, so I totally get why they kind of let your choices and stuff...
Why they take the reins and say, this is how it's going to play out.
Well, it seems like they really, like, let it broaden out to give you maximum choices in 2, because, like, so many different people could have died in that game. And then
I think 2 was their undoing in this one just because they introduced so many characters and so many possibilities. Because in this one, like, my whole crew survived, right?
Yeah, mine too.
And in 3, it's just, at a point, it was just funny because it was like, oh, wow, that's coincidental that I see you and then you and then you. Like,
yeah.
I meet all of you in order, and then you all die.
A bunch of them... Like, okay, like, who all died for you? Like, I'm wondering, is there randomness there, or is it...
I killed Tally.
Yeah, I know, right? I was so annoyed. I can't believe she did that.
You know Mark, right? Our friend Mark.
Yeah.
My friend Mark that you
met that one time
with, I guess, or whatever.
Steakhouse.
He did the Paragon path or whatever, and like me and him got in a little bit of an argument. I just basically said, "Dude, fuck the Quarians. They created life and then tried to destroy it when they got afraid." Even though, like, the Geth didn't do anything.
It's kind of a Frankenstein's monster dilemma, and I was like, in Frankenstein's reading that, it was like, oh, Frankenstein the Doctor is the worst person ever that he would try to destroy this.
I was even talking to him after. And I was just like, think back to every conversation you have with a Quarian except for Tally. They're all assholes.
Yeah.
Like, I had no problem letting them all die.
Like that they were so committed to taking advantage of their shields being down stuff. I was like, no, you idiots. Like, they're part of, like, they're joining us. Get over your old beef. And they're just like,
and
no.
They're all snarky. Like, when they talk to Shepard and even 2, like, everything they say to him is snarky and kind of just sarcastic.
Right, so
it's terrible.
I thought at least, you know... Tally would stay cool because we've been hanging out this whole time, and then like the fleet would hopefully kind of pull back at some point or something. But no, they literally just dash themselves on the rocks basically, and then Tally literally throws herself up. And I was like, "What? Oh, okay." So like that's the one decision I might tweak later. But if it means killing the Geth,
absolutely not.
Yeah, like the Geth are awesome.
No, you don't have to kill the Geth. If you take the one path, you can actually talk them down, and the Geth and Quarians actually live together.
Yeah, there was 2 grayed out options, and I was like, what the I've been pretty good this whole time. No, I can't choose it. And yeah.
Oh, they weren't grayed out for me. I just want to make sure that they died. Like, I was pretty
You spitefully
angry.
Were like, fuck you, Quarians. You guys are
well,
idiots.
Especially because the part you play up to that is just basically showing how the Geth were like, it was just terrible.
Like the history of, yeah, it's like genocide stuff, basically. And it's like
I don't want to keep really going on with it, but, I mean, for anyone not familiar with that part or something, and you're still listening, basically, what started the war between the two is a Geth asked, does this one have a soul?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how depressing is that? They created AI that could think for themselves. They wanted to know if they were basically, like, human in some way,
Mm-hmm.
and that scared the Quarians enough to
some Quarians, like that was the thing, because some Quarians were totally defending them, and I was like, oh well, hopefully there'll be enough rational Quarians amongst the Quarian fleet so that this won't go super bad. Vote Geth, and then it all went super bad anyway.
It went really bad.
Yeah.
And, like, it was so depressing showing, like, the memories of the Geth, and, like, there was some Quarians that stood by them and, like, just got killed, and then the Geths stood by some of them. And, like, they didn't fight back until they were, like, completely outnumbered.
Yeah.
They didn't start fighting back until they were on the verge of extinction.
Yeah.
So I'm totally with the
way
Geth.
more sympathetic towards the Geth. But yeah, like, Legion's kind of interesting sacrifice, but he basically evolves. I felt.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, Legion never died because he said that they are Legion.
Yeah, like
all of them are the same entity.
Like that personification of the Geth broke or whatever. But
it was one single unit.
Yeah, so I was okay with that. Morden's thing was pretty amazing though.
Morden almost made me cry.
I welled up some during that because it was like that was a great ending to the Genophage stuff. I thought that storyline.
You know what it was, right?
Yeah, that was some
really wish I could have done the seashells or whatever.
Mm.
And when he said that, I'm just like, oh, you bastard! Don't do this to me.
Yeah, it was kind of like it was reminding me of like Spock in Star Trek 2. Like it had a similar kind of. He's got to do this, man, and he's a science dude and everything. It was like oh, this is weirdly echoing that movie. And I love that movie.
And I think maybe it resonates a little more because, like, Morden's story is interesting in the fact that he did a pretty despicable thing.
And this is him making right. Yeah,
it's
not just him being heroic for the sake of it.
It's very honorable, though.
Yeah, there's a poetry to it. It was great. And yeah, Krogan's and stuff. Grunt had a great scene, and then he lived. So
yeah, I was so happy when he came out of the cave.
Like,
I felt pretty good about that.
I felt great about his fight. Like, he was doing awesome stuff. I was like, that's how like a Klingon or something would go down. And then it was like, oh no, I'm still alive. I was like,
no. And you know what? If they had done that any other way, where Grunt like totally bit it, I kind of would have been okay with it. But at the same time, Krogan are known to just like fight like that for fun.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it would have been kind of out of character for Krogan to be taken down when, like, he obviously could handle himself.
Yeah, like, there's an anecdote Rex gives, I think, in the first one about a long, protracted fight on a space station, and you get the sense that, yeah, they're made of tough stuff, so I guess that makes sense.
But, like, he is the best of their species, right? He was genetically modified to be the best.
Right, and he is covered in blood, and his hand looked really messed up, so...
They really undercut Thane, I thought.
I didn't even meet him in that game. Like, I just didn't see him. I guess, okay, there was one whole storyline I did not do, I guess, and everyone was reminding me about it after. It was like
Which one?
Grissom Academy.
Oh, Jack.
All of it. Like, it was like, apparently you can miss that, and I don't know what I did wrong, because it was just like...
Can you really?
Yeah, because, like, I just didn't go, and then eventually it was just like Hackett showed up on the thing, and it was like, oh, we just got to report Grissom Academy's gone. And then it was just like, oh no...
Oh my god.
And then it was like, or Anderson actually shows up and he's like, yeah, I got a report from a friend of mine, Kaylee, and it's all gone. And I was like, what? Like, I missed that on my quest log or whatever. I just didn't notice it.
Oh, maybe because, when Cerberus attacks a citadel.
Yeah, it was...
That's kind of like a point of no return.
Oh, okay.
Right? That's like the halfway point.
I didn't know that. So yeah, I just kept playing whatever I was doing, and then that happened. And then after that, yeah, everyone kept reminding me about it. Is that where Thane shows up?
Oh, you didn't see Thane at all?
No, like, later, yeah, there was another thing. Like, later, towards the end of the game, it was like, man, all these friends we lost, Morden, Thane, and I was like, what? When did Thane die? Is Thane okay?
Oh, wow.
I was like,
so Thane, the whole time, is in the hospital.
Oh, are you serious?
He's just chilling out in the hospital, because, like, he has, I can't remember what his disease was.
Yeah, but in the second one, they establish he is dying. So
right, and this is like he's dying in like the next week. Like he's ready to go anytime.
Oh.
So they're keeping him just kind of in the hospital in case something happens.
Oh, okay.
But when Cerberus attacks and you get attacked by K-Lang,
mm-hmm. Yeah, that guy.
He fights with him.
Oh, okay.
But maybe if you don't talk to him...
Yeah, I guess I just didn't initiate any of that stuff, so...
It's kind of cool because, you're holding K-Lane at gunpoint or whatever, and he's kind of taunting you or doing whatever the hell he does, and Thang sneaks up behind him. And just, they have a little fight, and...
like assassin versus assassin or whatever. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. But, like, they do the thing where, like, K-Lang stabs through his stomach with a sword, and he, like, pulls him closer with the sword.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it was kind of cool, but at the same... Like, I don't know. It could have been a little bit better, mainly because Fanboy. I love him. He was great, and I didn't think they built him up enough in this one, but it makes sense.
Okay.
He had a really touching part, because after that happens, he's obviously in the hospital when everything's kosher again, and, like, his son's there, and they're like...
Who is his son? What's his son's name?
I can't remember right now.
Okay. Just because, like, I just read one of the comics, it's about Liara and stuff, and Pharaon is... Like, he's another one of the... what's the race again?
Drell.
Yeah. He's another Drell, but I wasn't sure if he was related or what.
That might be him. I can't remember.
Okay.
But basically, his last, like, request to Shepard is to, like, say their prayer with him, or whatever.
Okay.
And it was just the thing where, like, he dies, and then he's like... I thought he made peace with God already. He's just like, no, he was praying for you. And it's just like, man, that's pretty touching. That's pretty good.
I'm bummed out I missed some of that, because, yeah, it seemed okay, to be in the game's defense, I didn't really use the map thing to know where important people were until, like, well into the game. Like, I just wasn't paying attention, really. I was just running around the Citadel.
You need... The quest log in that needs an item list of some sort.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, going through the different planets, picking stuff up, I couldn't ever remember, like, what I had gotten for people. So going through the quest log again, it was just like, did I get that?
Yeah, I'd kind of just run up and talk to a person, and they'd just be like, oh, here's those, boosters I got for you. And I was like,
the best is where it's someone's on the phone with, like, their sister. It's like, no, I don't know where to get more of those. And then Shepard's like, oh, I have them. Here you go.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. I've just been on the phone since you've been gone for...
They were pretty stoked, though, when you give them those. They're actually not as weird about it as I was told.
No, but it is weird that, like, Shepard's doing this crazy mission
to
save the universe.
Just trying to help, just trying to help out in all ways,
That's so dumb.
No, I thought you gotta spend time on Citadel anyway, so you might as well, get the Blue Suns on your side. You're collecting war assets, dude. You don't know.
No, that totally makes sense. Getting, like, a little thing for somebody because you overheard them talking to somebody on the phone.
Oddly, those seem to usually work out in war assets, too.
Everything.
Yeah, so it's just like...
The whole idea behind it is retarded, though.
I don't know. I thought it was well justified, but... whatever.
Well justified in the end, like, in terms of a game, but if you were going just based on stories, like, okay, this military guy...
No, it's like, it's like that episode in Lost where, Jack just kind of goes and listens to everybody and gets stuff for him.
That's retarded, too.
No, I don't even know if that episode exists. I'm just saying that would be a weird episode.
I'm sure it does, because that's totally something Jack would
actually,
do,
it'd be more something Hugo would do, and that literally does happen.
It makes sense for Hugo, though. Yeah. Hugo was a good guy.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Trying to think what else was really... Okay, which relationship did you pursue in the games? Because I think I chose the best one.
Ashley.
But I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Ashley.
Oh, okay. Is she still alive, I guess? Does that all work out? Because for me, I have Caden in mind, and we kind of hung out at a steakhouse or something, but that was it.
Yeah, the first one, it was Ashley. Second one... because she wasn't in it, was Miranda.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just stayed with the humans, really.
Oh, okay.
And in the third one, it was inadvertently Liara, because I did a dialogue option that completely screwed me out of, like, being with Ashley. But, I mean, I didn't care.
Oh.
I wasn't overly invested in the relationship at that point at all.
Oh, okay.
So.
Alright.
But apparently Liara's the only sex scene that's actually, like, drawn out.
Yeah, it was kind of embarrassing. I wish that wasn't in the game.
That's really weird.
It was, like, steamy 80s kind of look to it. It was just, like, I was just like, oh. Because they kind of cut. Like, they just start kissing or whatever, and then it cuts, and I was like, oh, okay, good. They went the...
And then it comes
They
back.
went the proper route. Yeah, it comes back with, like, a funky soundtrack, and I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
This is, like, 1970s. You can't... Oh, it was really bad. But the idea of the relationship I thought was great, because it kind of carried from, like, the first game. Actually kind of fits with the comic I read, too, because it's like, she's the most devoted to getting Shepard's body back of everybody, which was kind of a neat little extra twist there, and I don't know. I thought it was pretty satisfying. And then, then I died. So, it makes it tragic. We could never, have that farm or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't overly invested in the relationship, but it's kind of depressing.
I guess. There's some good weight to it. I was surprised by how invested in the whole universe and stuff I got.
Honestly, more than any relationship in the game, it was Garrus that got me, when they were just kind of like palling around.
Mm-hmm. Garrus was in my final squad as well. Yeah, he was my other guy.
But like at that part where you're just kind of like shooting with him on the Citadel,
mm-hmm.
and then he's just like, no matter what happens, I always have your back or whatever.
Yeah.
Just like, man, bro tears. Like these tears are so manly, my house is shaking.
There's some good moments towards the end. But okay, is Caden or like I guess was Ashley in that end spot and I just missed that person or? There's a little bit where you kind of, like, I'm just going to say, like, the last couple hours of that mission...
They're all there.
...reminded me of Terminator. Like, it just had that aesthetic.
Like, you mean when you're, like, going through the rubble and you're talking to all of your team member before the final push?
Yeah, it's just, like, bombed out cities, robot death things.
No, they're all there. There's one guy that has, like, one of those communicator things.
Okay.
And you can talk to absolutely everybody.
Well, like, you can phone other people across the galaxy or whatever.
Exactly.
Right,
yeah.
But shouldn't Caden be with you because he's in your party? Or, like, Ashley?
Yeah, Ashley was around that area.
I guess I screwed up. Like, I talked to James, and then I found the phone and called some people.
Did you hate James?
No, he was whatever.
I didn't mind him.
He was fine.
I didn't use him over a whole lot.
Like once or twice or something, but Garrus was my go-to.
Javik was like my main guy.
Who was?
He'd never left my party. Javik or Yavik or however you say his name.
Oh, okay, this is Prothean dude, right?
The Prothean.
Yeah, I don't have this dude, party. So I was just like, what are you talking about?
He was always in my party because he always like would give background on the Protheans and origin story stuff. Mm-hmm. So, like, I kept him for everything, and then it was just switching in the third person with whoever I wanted.
I just had Liara and Garrus pretty much the whole time, just spamming singularities and then blasting people. So
yeah, that works out pretty good. Liara's really good in this game.
Yeah. Okay, was there only, like, 5 characters for you, basically? Selectable?
No, there were 6 because of the DLC.
Right. So 6 with DLC. Like, for me, it was 6 while I had Tally, and then she died. So,
right.
Like, yeah, I was just like, wow, this is not that many characters. Because in the last one, there was, like, stupid amount of, like, plus the DLC people.
Well, there was double. There was about 12.
Yeah. Well, it's, you lost some dudes.
That's a lot, especially if you consider they all have a loyalty mission.
And they're all kind of in the game still. They're just not gonna join you. Like, it was like, hey, Jacob, do you want to roll? No. Oh, okay.
We might have been harping on this a bit too long.
Oh.
Maybe.
Okay. It's a good game.
Just because, like, it's been about 45 minutes.
I know. Alright, fine.
So, in closing, like, really good game.
I think,
the ending is not bad.
Okay.
And it doesn't ruin anything up to it. I still prefer 2 better as a game.
Okay. I think it's my favorite, but okay.
3's your favorite?
I think so, just because they finally figured out the gameplay side of it, which means a lot to me. And I don't know.
That's totally fair, especially because the multiplayer adds a lot of replay value.
Yeah.
Because it's really good. I just like 2 the most because, like, I liked the characters in it. I liked the... it wasn't as open, and I kind of liked the structure it had, where it was like, no, you get these characters, then, like, loyalty missions, and then final battle.
And, like, it's more clear about when you're at a critical key junction or whatever. Or...
Like, if number 2 was remade ever, like an HD remake in the future,
with better combat.
With better combat, it would easily be the better game.
It might, yeah. It does have a pretty satisfying story, but yeah, again, like I played it less than a year ago on Insanity or whatever. It was just like, wow, this is just unpleasant.
Actually, we played it at the same time on Insanity. We did our runs at the same time. We just weren't talking really.
Okay,
at that time.
Well, like, yeah, and just I don't know. It's so clunky in comparison. Like, they keep jumping quite.
The AI is terrible.
Yeah. So
Your teammate AI, I mean.
Yeah. Oh no,
just...
I only got frustrated really once with the teammate AI in this game, and it was in that end battle we talked about with the banshees and the brutes and stuff. So.
And to be fair, like, I was even having a little bit of problems at that part, so like the AI had no chance.
Yeah, well, we were just getting surrounded. Like it was just like, you probably shouldn't have tried to punch that thing, but I don't know. This is pretty bad.
Actually, I think my saving grace in that, like my team kept dying and I ran out of Medigel for them. So I would just consistently cloak when things got near, and then finally I was able to launch the missiles. I cloaked and just ran.
Yeah, I ran up to the thing too. Like I was like, I'm not. If I can do that, I'm not gonna kill everything first. Like I'm just gonna try this.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I guess final thing, like unlike with 2, like it kind of took a lot out of me. Like this is over, the finality of it, so I might not play it again for a couple months. You know, like.
Yep.
Like I still want to.
And that's kind of depressing.
No, like I mean, I might play the multiplayer and stuff, but like I don't want to just kind of have to sort through all of this again right away. You know, but I'll cherish it again in a little while. I like the soundtrack a lot too. I'm actually thinking about just looking into acquiring it.
Yeah, the soundtrack is good. It's the only one I don't have yet.
Okay.
I'll remedy that at some point. It's still Jack Wall, right?
I don't know. There's one piece of music specifically that I really want to have, but yeah. Okay. Do you want to just start talking about zombies or something, or?
Yep. So.
All right.
I guess that's probably it for Mass Effect 3.
All right. 40 minutes.
We did say quite a bit.
There's more. I think it's a pretty significant thing that happened in the entertainment industry, but
yeah,
we'll talk about it more somewhere else.
Yeah.
On a video game podcast, perhaps.
Maybe one day.
Okay. Walking Dead season 2.
So, we've been catching up on The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I think last time we hung out, actually, neither of us had watched any of this season.
No, I'd watched like 5 episodes, and then just got busy.
Right, and I had watched 2.
Right.
Like, they had just gone to the farm.
Okay, and then I just marathoned a bunch of it the last like 3 days, and now I've seen it all.
Yeah, it got easier to watch because like they did some pretty good stuff in the season, but I didn't feel it didn't grip me as much as the first one. But I mean, maybe that's because I kind of had an idea of what they were going with. Like, because before you were just kind of like, oh man, what are they going to do with this comic book property as a TV show?
Yeah.
And now they got their footing, they got their feel, and it was pretty good. Like, it's definitely the first drama I've watched in a while, like that's on TV currently.
Oh, really? Okay, I've been drama-ing it up quite a bit, but yeah, I think...
No, I've been sticking to comedies mostly.
There's like 4 series, I guess, regular that are considered dramas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you're a drama veteran at this time? A drama queen, if you will?
Yeah, sure, I'll take that.
Cool.
Yeah, so I don't know how it compares to some of those other shows, but I like the premise of it so much. I kind of am curious to rewatching season 1 because I didn't find it that engaging. Like I liked 2
until the last 2 episodes.
Like
when they got to the CDC, that was pretty crazy.
I was into that mainly because like Noah Emmerich's there, but then I was bummed out that he died. But yeah, like generally I have, positive feelings for the whole thing, but it seemed to be going too fast was literally kind of my issue. Like there was one episode where they kind of meet up with these dudes at an old folks home or something.
In the first season.
In the first season, I think it was the 4th episode, and it just seemed...
It is understandable though.
Yeah, but it was like so like abbreviated. Like it was just like, oh, there's these other people and here we are and we know what they're doing and now we're done, and they just kind of move on. Like it's just like...
But, I mean, like, they did have half the time of a normal series, right?
Yeah. Like, I mean, again, yeah, it's a six episode
It was
season.
kind of... Season 1 was kind of a proof of concept that it could work and people would watch it, I think.
Like, you can do a post-apocalyptic-ish zombie show, and it'll...
Every week, and people will tune in every week.
Yeah. So, I guess it had to be kind of that way and splashier stuff. But, like, yeah, contrary to, like, a lot of the stuff I was reading on Twitter every week was like, man... No, just hanging out at this farm. Just leave the damn farm. And
no, I didn't want them.
I know.
To leave.
I thought it was great. It was like a great little kind of, eye of the storm situation. That
Because by the end something terrible is going to happen.
And it totally did, and I thought that was amazing. Like, that final episode was, like, way better than I thought.
Do we want to talk about that a little more in depth? Do we want to, like...
Oh, yeah, spoilers for Walking Dead. Yeah, okay. I can't... I'm not going to not talk about the end of...
I was so happy when he stabbed the shit out of Shane.
Oh, okay. Here...
I felt vindicated as a human being.
Alright, well, we're gonna... I really liked Shane, but he was starting to go crazy.
I couldn't stand him.
I think he literally had the infection prior. Like, in that episode, they kind of seemed to give some leaning as, like, no, he's actually starting to lose his mind. Like, there's that scene where he's sitting in the chair, and then he kind of smacks his head and goes, oh. Like, I don't think he was in the right spot. But just...
No, he obviously wasn't. And, like, he was smacking his head, and there was just kind of the flashes of, like, a monster.
Yeah.
So, that was really cheesy, but kind of funny. Like, I laughed a little bit. In the very last episode, though, they were saying how they were all infected.
Yeah. Like, that's a possibility.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, like, Season 3's setup is pretty great for that. Like, there's a lot of mistrust stuff, the prison or whatever. Like, I heard that was a good...
The prison and Michonne, that's going to be pretty cool. That character with the hood.
Oh, I don't know who that was. It was just like, what the...
She is, like, a zombie killing... Like, you know how these guys are just trying to survive?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the one that just kind of, like, was born to live in this type of world.
Like, she just loves killing zombies.
Well, she's just kind of, like, really good at surviving, I guess.
Okay. Whoever that was seemed to be taking care of it pretty well.
She's apparently a huge fan favorite, too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I thought it ended on a... Like, there was an episode, just... Like, the reason I say I like Shane is I really liked what they did with episode 10. It's kind of where they like, Rick and Shane drive out to release Randall.
Yep.
And then stuff goes kind of bad. Like, just the way they kind of played with their dynamic and stuff. And...
They had good dynamic.
I guess I will say, though, like, I'm not disappointed. Like, I'm not like, oh, they killed Shane, I'm done with this show. Like, some people were getting kind of annoyed with it on Twitter. I'm more like, no, this season now is kind of like the fall of Shane. Like, it has a nice story to it.
Yeah. See, the thing is,
and through what happened, like, Rick changes as a person and stuff. So they've done by their character.
You can't really blame Shane. Because everything he was saying, he was doing for the good of someone, even if it was just himself sometimes.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I got his logic a lot of the time. Like, there was a bit where,
I think the thing that bothered me the most was just the idea that him and Rick were friends, and, like
they didn't really
how
get...
much Lori messed that up.
Yeah, like, you don't really get...
I really don't like Lori.
Lori, like the wife?
I'm pretty sure she's right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
There's a scene where she's kind of manipulating Rick a bit.
Rick?
Like, in the tent or whatever, just like...
And then in the very last episode where he says that he did what he had to do and blah, 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 she hits him. And she's like, don't touch me or whatever, and she's freaking out.
Oh, yeah,
That was really irritating.
That Rick killed Shane, yeah. But then, like, earlier...
Oh, and also she doesn't know how to mother her own goddamn kid who's never in the fucking house.
Yeah, Carl.
Oh, Carl.
Yeah. Okay. I'm like, I don't know what else to really like.
You know where he shoots Zombie Shane?
Yeah.
Apparently, in the comics, he's not Zombie Shane.
Oh.
So that, I think, that might have been a little bit better for me.
Like, if it was just angry, murderous Shane?
Just because, like, then he saves his dad, right?
Yeah.
Like, because the whole time, there's kind of a thing going on where, like, they're both his father.
Well, they're both,
really.
Giving him father advice.
And it's kind of like him choosing, I think, would have been better.
Than just, it's a monster, we need to do this thing. Yeah.
And then almost, like, hating his dad for making the choice of what had to be done. See, what I liked is that by the end, Rick... Like, I've always thought Rick was kind of a badass, but he was the one that, like, wouldn't act until he had to.
Yeah.
But, like, when he acts, he does it well. Like, when they're in the bar and they're talking to those two guys.
That was so harsh. I was not... Yeah, that was, like, kind of a slow episode, and then that happened, and it was like...
That was really good.
Wow, he just totally murdered those two dudes.
And then you remember, oh yeah, this guy was a cop, he was probably a really good one.
Yeah. Like... I like that, Shane has had impact on Rick as a person. Like, he's now a darker person at the end of this whole situation.
Well, I think because he realizes that Shane was right, that this world is not the world they grew up with.
And then in a contrary way, like Dale, he died as well, and I was kind of like, oh, but at the same time, he kind of imparted some lessons to some characters that they will hopefully take with them and whatnot. Like
that was a hard death for me.
I was kind of bummed out by it because like in that episode, he's obviously like the guy you want to root for because he's the only one saying, let's not lose our humanity. And then
yeah, see, like I disagreed with him in that episode.
Like the specific decision.
I did agree that they probably should have killed him,
Randall, okay,
just to keep everyone safe.
It was a tough dilemma. It's a fun dilemma.
Like it's not. It's a controversial one. It's not an easy one. I mean, do you take someone's life on the off chance, or like do you risk the life of like 20 other people?
Yeah.
Like it's not an easy yes or no thing. I was going in the way against Dale though, but like him. Like, no matter what, you always need someone in humanity like that to show that there is still good in people.
Like
and like when he died, I honestly felt like, oh, this group is like screwed.
Yeah, like the group dynamic is going to go pretty bad. And like I like the line they end with Rick, kind of like, this isn't a democracy anymore. Like he's going to get more tyrannical in a sense. Like I don't know. Like season 1.
I'm rooting for him though. If anybody should be taking a fascist approach, it's him, because he, like, up till now we don't know what's going to happen really, especially like you or me, because I don't think we're into the comics.
No, I haven't read the comics.
Yeah, so like we don't know what's going to happen, but up till now he's been the only one with a level head and a good heart. Like he's always thinking about the other people.
I guess
that
like it was still like
now.
So dirty how he like shanked Shane though. Just because, like, he's kind of relinquishing, or he fakes, like, peace and talking it out, and then totally stabs him, and he's just like, I just wanted to end it. I was so tired of it. And you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, he had a breaking point, and it broke, or whatever, and now I'm not sure what to think about it. Which is a good...
But, I mean, to be fair, at that point...
Yeah.
Like, at the point where your friend literally takes you on a death hike to kill you, points a gun at your head, and then barely puts it down a little bit so you can have an opportunity to live.
Yeah. Like,
and the whole like fucking your wife and trying to be you.
Well, but he was dead. Like he actually handled that pretty well.
No, like totally, but like everything came to a head, and it was just like, you know what?
No, I'm not. Yeah, I know. I'm not. Again, I'm not saying like it's super black and white or whatever. I like me some gray, and they handle it pretty well. I don't know. Yeah, like. Season 1, I wasn't like totally into everything that was happening, but over the course of this season, it's definitely risen in my. I'm like anticipating the third season.
I really want to see the prison stuff.
Yeah, like they've been.
That's going to be pretty good, I think.
But like the way they closed out this season with just the big action set piece stuff, like I was not expecting that much carnage on television. Like it was like. Full 20
or Herschel's everlasting supply of shotgun shells.
Yeah, I was definitely counting that. It was like, okay,
that was pretty funny.
It's like
especially like
12...
if you've ever shot in a shotgun, like after a few of those, his arm would have been so dead.
Yeah, it was fun, but yeah, that bit was a bit over the top.
I still think Daryl is probably my favorite character.
He's cool. He's got a bike and everything.
I really like him.
Yeah.
Like, I liked him a lot. I didn't like him very much in the first season, mainly because he was just kind of a racist hick.
Right.
And, like, he got pretty nice and, like, cool in this one. I think what really did it, though, is the guy just, like, has an arrow through him, falls down a mountain.
Oh, and, like, episode 4, like, the one with...
Climbs back up, falls down, and then just, like, pulls the arrow out of him to kill a zombie.
Oh, like the strange visions of his brother taunting him and stuff. Yeah. That was before that was one of the ones I saw, like, a few months ago, so it's less fresh in my mind, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm quite happy with this show now.
I really want to see what happens with Carl, because he's developing into something, and I can't tell what.
Like, where they're going with that? Like, is it...
Because, like, in some episodes, he's kind of like a psycho.
Carl?
Where, like, Yeah, like some of the stuff he says is kind of disturbing. Like you can tell that the whole incident is really making him grow up a lot faster than he should be.
Yeah.
And like the way Shane approached stuff and like how he looked up to Shane and stuff was kind of affecting it. And then like at a
Oh,
point
you just
he
mean where
started.
he walks into the barns like, you should shoot that guy in the face?
Yeah, but he has a few parts like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Where he's just like, she's dead, isn't she? Like when they're talking about Sophia.
Yeah, and it's just
like I don't know. He's getting a real dark turn on him,
mm-hmm.
and he was very much about like justice and law, like his dad.
Yeah.
But like now that they're both turning, like I don't know. It's just nice to see character development done well.
Well, like people changing the.
Well, because they're given the time, right? Because in season 1 they weren't given the time to develop. It was just kind of okay, we got to get a bunch of stuff in here to get people interested.
Yeah.
Now we can do what we have to do.
I think overall they. Oh, okay. One thing, like overall they've handled their characters very well. One thing, T-Dog though, like he was just doing nothing the entire season. Like,
well, he doesn't even say anything.
Yeah, so like at some point I'm just like, oh, this is you should probably write some lines for him lest he be mistaken as that token black character that only exists to be
especially
there.
Because like
he could do
he's
stuff.
kind of a catalyst right now.
Like, what do you mean? Like
for Daryl?
Yeah, like they touched
because
on
his
some
brother,
of that stuff.
Like is likely dead because of him, even though I'm pretty sure we'll probably see him in the prison.
Well, we will, we'll see him at some point in the future of the series because they make that pretty clear with his hands. You know, they get there and he's gone already. Yeah, and I think there was actually a podcast with Michael Rooker. Like he's like, no, there's plans.
He's a weird dude, like in real life.
Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of amusing though.
But like for someone that is literally could be the tipping point for one of the better characters in the series, they got to get him doing stuff.
T-Dog, you mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I like at some point around like episode 8 or something, I was just like, why hasn't he, like, I don't think he's had a line in like 2 episodes. Like, he just wasn't doing stuff. So
I don't think he's even in one episode. Like, he might have just walked by or something, but I don't think they even put the camera on him.
Yeah, no, like, there's a bunch where he really does not have a significant anything to do. Like, until the finale, really, he doesn't really have full sentences, you know? Like, when he's driving the truck, that's the most you've seen of T-Dog in a while. I think, like, early in the season, there's a whole thing with him getting hurt, right? And him and Dale are kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
So, like, that happens, and then they just kind of ignore him for a while. So...
Like, it almost feels like they forgot he was even there.
Yeah, or just
kind of too bad.
Couldn't figure out, like, a plot for him in this context, so it's just like, I don't know, he just kind of...
I think we're going to see a lot more of him in the next season.
I hope so. Like, justify why he's still around. Like, give him some stuff to do. But, yeah.
I think he's going to be part of a tipping point with Merle and Daryl.
Mm-hmm. It's like, no, I'm not racist anymore. Well, we don't have time for that anymore, because zombies. It's just like, what?
Yeah, no, it'll be one of the things where, like, Daryl will probably have to choose between his brother, who's kind of a dick, but blood.
Yeah.
Or, like, this guy that he's grown kind of close with because they've been through the shit together.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, I'm totally speculating, but I just see a tipping point coming.
But yeah, overall, thumbs up. Walking Dead Season 2.
Yeah, I'm completely invested again. And you know what? At the beginning of this series, or this season, I didn't think I would be.
Yeah, so, good job, television. And Frank Darabont's gone, so, I don't know. But I guess that happened halfway through.
I'm okay with that.
I'm fine with it, too. Alright, so what was is there other big thing?
So, Tyler Perry.
Alright, so Tyler Perry. Okay. Have you ever seen any of his films, ever?
No, I've seen quite a few episodes of House of Pain.
Why? Is that good?
Like, no, it was one of those things where, like, I lost the remote and I was sick.
Okay.
And, like, it was on TBS, and apparently they decided to play, like, 5 hours of it.
Is it just like a sitcom? It's just a...
It's terrible.
Okay.
Like, it made me want to kill myself.
Okay. You had a somewhat similar experience to me then. Okay, like, I'm just gonna preface, like... I don't know how to really address this topic because, like, it's not for me. It was never for me. This is, like, you know, very much for, like, a black audience, specifically a kind of Christian one that lives in America. And I am none of those things. And if you're a woman, bonus, probably. So...
Okay. So what did you see then?
I I saw Medea's Family Reunion, which came out in 2006.
So the Madea or whatever series is almost like the Ernest series. There's quite a few of them.
It kind of reminded me of the Ernest series, yeah. And
no, but I say that because there's literally Medea's Family Reunion.
Medea goes to jail. Yeah.
Madea Christmas.
Like Diary of a Mad Black Woman is the first one, which came out in 2005. Like 12 movies in 7 years. So these are coming out fast. They look like it. Like they're kind of shot like a soap opera or something. Like very.
He has 3 movies coming out this year.
Yeah, and they make a bunch of money. Like that's the other thing. Like it's like, okay, well, like I can criticize it all I want, but they're popular, so someone thinks this is fantastic, and now I'm left with the problem of like, how and why, and is that okay?
Well, even like comedians and stuff that talk on like talk shows or podcasts or whatever, they all have said that like comedy for black people is completely different than like white people.
Is that true? Like,
yeah, because they all say it. Black people, they say that like when they do a comedy show in a black club, they have to put on a show, like up down to the point where like they could be doing like slapstick routines, they could be talking weird and stuff, like because when a black community goes out to see something, they want to be entertained, which is totally fair.
Okay.
Whereas white people, they say they kind of like are more cynical. They don't like the slapstick routine. They don't like ridiculous stuff.
Okay, like so like that would explain kind of the theatricality of the movie, because
exactly.
Like it seems like also it's obviously based on a stage play, but it's just so over the top. Like it's just like this situation makes no sense at all. Is anyone gonna talk about how this makes no sense? No.
Like when you were saying that this wasn't for you, it literally wasn't made for either of us to ever watch.
I know, but like. There's just a few elements of it that I feel like are worth questioning. Like so I'm not going to say like it's the worst movie ever. I don't like it's not it's just not for me at all.
It's not The Room by Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah, it's not okay, it did remind me of that though. Like there's literally some exchanges in the movie that are just like, nope, that's not how a scene works, but okay. Like whatever.
I didn't do it. I didn't hit her. Yeah. Oh, hi Mark.
But there's like really jarring shifts in tone in the movie. Like literally, there's scenes where Tyler Perry's dressed up like a woman, or he's dressed up like an old man. Fart jokes happening, and then later in the movie,
he's doing the Eddie Murphy.
He's doing like a really poor Eddie Murphy, yes. And then later in the movie, there'll be like a very serious discussion between a mother and her daughters about like rape, just in the same movie. What? I know, right? Like it's just like, what are you doing? And like the whole a big subplot of the movie is about spousal abuse or whatever. Like her boyfriend is just beating her up all the time. And it's just like, okay, that could be a movie. I've seen movies about this. Why are you having fart jokes over here though? Like what are you doing? Like it'll just be like hard shift from like the silliest, most juvenile comedy to like really kind of dark stuff. And it's just like my brain doesn't do that. Like I just don't shift like that. But again,
a few episodes I've seen of that show,
House of Pain,
actually kind of did that too. Like obviously micro compared to what you probably experienced.
Well, because it's like 100-minute movie, and it'll just like 10 minutes of goofy nonsense, and then he punches his wife.
But like in this 20-minute show, there'll be like comedy, like these people have a weird marriage, and the parents are annoying the wife. And then they'll just get into a huge argument about, like, their parents and how, like, he loves them or whatever, and how if she can't stand that, then they shouldn't be together, and it gets all serious right away.
Yeah, like, I just...
Like, it's weird.
I've never quite gotten into comedies that try to do that, and this one does it all the time. So that's also part of my issue with it. Like even, like, the Farrelly Brothers would do this, like, what was the last one? Hall Pass? Like, the last 20 minutes of that movie is like, we're going to take marriage seriously now. And it's just like, no, you don't get to anymore. Because, like, you already cashed in your cards.
Like, you can't really have it both ways.
Yeah, you told me what kind of movie this was, and now you're trying to change it? No, that's not how this works. But, this movie just starts doing that almost immediately. So I was just like, oh, I don't know what to make of this at all. But, okay. Yeah, so, okay. There's that. There's, like, spousal abuse stuff. However, what I found like just disturbing, this is where I'm kind of questioning whether this is like a positive influence or the worst thing ever or reflective of negative things that are just happening within the community of people that like it. The solution Madea gives to her like granddaughter or whatever about how she should deal with her abusive husband is to put
Mhm.
a pot on the stove and fill it with like hot scalding stuff and then throw it in his face and hit him with a frying pan.
That's a great idea.
You're joking, right?
Like, are these people Bugs Bunny?
Well,
Like,
like
what the hell is going
I
on?
know, like it seemed over the top. Like they talk about it early in the movie, and everyone starts laughing. And I was just like, oh, okay, so that was old crazy grandma being crazy. She literally does that later in the movie, and nothing bad happens. Like
What?
she scalds him with this soup or whatever, and just starts hitting him. And cut to later, and there's a wedding, and it's just like, wait, what happened to that dude? Like, is he gonna sue them now or call the cops? Because he could do that because this is real, right? And no, just nothing happens. She beat the bad guy. She had to stop him.
Oh God.
Yeah, so I was just like, wow, this is just irresponsible. Like, if you're actually advocating this, and the other thing is just like, there's like, I guess corporal punishment is when you're hitting your kids,
I think so.
but whatever.
I thought it had to do with like, yeah, I guess like in a
Yeah,
disciplinary role.
disciplinary kind of
Yeah.
hitting a kid with a belt or something. That just happens in
Okay.
this movie.
Yeah.
Like it's just like girl comes home, like foster kid or whatever. Medea doesn't like her report card and just starts hitting her with a belt, and it's just like, haha, funny. This is like, and she's yelling like, oh, this is how my mama did it. And it's just
But like, is it supposed to be satire? Maybe.
like
Like, I
there's
mean,
an episode of
growing up, I never got my ass whooped
yeah,
or beaten for like a report card. But if I did something bad, I there were a few times where I was physically reprimanded.
yeah, like that happened to me too. But like, there's an earlier scene where she just starts hitting the kid in a car, and it was just like, again, played for laughs, and I was just like, I just don't think this is funny. Like, I think it's kind of weird. And also, this is in the same movie where we're talking about people who have grown up and are now hitting their wives. So, what kind of pattern is this?
Hmm.
Like, I was like, what, this isn't funny, and you're providing the reasons why it's not funny in your movie, but you're not really aware of the connection, it seems. Like, it was just, like, really bothersome. I didn't like it at all. And yeah, like yeah, just hitting kids, scalding, abusers, and mixing serious topics with completely goofy nonsense. Like it was just those three things were just kind of like, why is this okay for
Th-
anybody?
this sounds terrible. What made you want to see a Tyler Perry thing anyway?
This is for class. This is for African American cinema.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Really?
which we need. Like, I actually appreciate it because like this is the biggest thing going on in African American cinema right now. Like these movies are doing huge business and stuff, and everyone's kind of weighing in on like,
And if it, I mean, it makes sense if it's appealing to black culture.
yeah, like it's like,
For a
well,
comedy.
like we don't really
But
get to say whether or not this should be popular because it's already popular. So what do we make of that? Like that's kind of the dilemma.
are there any black students in your class?
Unfortunately, no. So I can't really.
That's really too bad.
I know.
I would have liked to know what their reaction
Like,
was.
is this offensive or really funny? Like,
But at the same time, it might be a little biased. Like,
even in Canada,
black or not, in a film studies course,
I
they probably have some sense of like higher learning.
yeah, right. So that you're not getting kind of the audience even because yeah.
Yeah.
Also, not American, so like it's pretty American too. A lot of the kind of issues they're
The
dealing
red,
with.
white, and blue.
Yeah. So it was just like a baffling experience. Like I did not enjoy it at all, and I was just kind of disturbed by some of the potential stuff, the implications.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, and there's like way more and more every year. So bleh. Look into that.
Yeah. They're as long as it makes money, they'll be out. So.
Yeah, and he's doing extremely well too. Like,
And you know what? Good for him. That's great.
is it
But
like taking advantage of
yeah, no,
ignorant
it totally is great.
people?
Like for anyone to be successful at what they do, I just don't know because like no matter what, it's the audience that decides if something's popular.
Right.
So I think it speaks to a larger problem that that sort of thing is acceptable,
right. Like,
then it is him capitalizing on it.
See, I'm not. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I still have to kind of determine the character of Tyler Perry. Like, is it just like, no, he's sincerely getting some, thoughts from his childhood and stuff off of his chest in these plays and movies, and there's just
or is he just
and there happens to be an audience for it, or is
money?
it like, oh, he found a formula that works and he's gonna milk that thing? Because like it's his own production company, so he's made hundreds of millions of dollars off of it. He does kind of slightly tailor it to a Christian audience, like through some kind of just casual mentions to going to church and stuff. But then in the movie, Madea says she doesn't go to church on a regular basis, basically. She's like, I only go to church for 2 reasons, funerals and weddings. And, like, it's like, okay, well, your main character isn't even really...
But isn't her character supposed to be like the crazy old lady?
She's like, well, kind of the matriarch of the family. Like, they go to her for, like,
like Benezia.
Yeah, it was, I don't know. Like, her, I'm going to say in quotes this whole time, because it's a dude playing it, and it's just, like, not even well, really, I'm going to say. Like, I kind of want to reevaluate some other dude dresses up in drag movies, just to kind of be like...
Mrs. Doubtfire, let's do it.
Maybe I got Tootsie here, I'm going to watch that.
I do like Mrs. Doubtfire quite a bit.
It's so, yeah, like, I'm not the biggest Robin Williams dude, but I remember quite enjoying that film.
It's fun.
It's
whimsical.
Sure. Kind of ridiculous, but in a good way. But, yeah, like, I don't know. Like, that's kind of his defense. He'll bring up those movies and be like, hey, no one's getting angry at those movies. You're all just being racist for, getting mad at me. And it's like, no, we're getting mad at you for a whole bunch of reasons, and, ugh.
Yeah, Robin Williams never tried to talk to his daughter in drag about rape.
Yeah, like, it's not just, like, it doesn't do that.
Although it might have sold more if he did.
Like, it knows its place as a comedy. Like, it understands what can and cannot be addressed in a serious way.
Well, it plays to its audience, and it doesn't try to change anything about it, right? It's like, no, this is the type of movie it is, and there's going to be something feel-good at the end. That's pretty much the only change that's going to happen.
Yeah, and Pierce Brosnan's in it. He'll get stuff thrown at him, and it'll be funny. But
exactly.
Yeah, but okay. Enough about that. Like, I'm looking forward to the discussion about it we have in class to kind of get the sense of, like, how other people felt.
I would love for you to, like, tell me about how that discussion goes. Not necessarily recording, just
okay, like,
in general.
Yeah, just I need more information. I've started really, like, I guess the one thing to its credit, like, it's the most fascinating subculture I've discovered through this course, really, in terms of, like, putting this whole
Black film?
Yeah, like, just reading about reviews for this. Spike Lee kind of had some back and forth with him about, these are the worst thing ever, what are you doing, kind of thing, and, like, yeah.
Yeah, but Spike Lee is kind of, like, the most pretentious black man ever.
I've grown to really like Spike Lee, though, over the course of this thing as well.
What's the last movie he's done?
The last one? Was it Miracle at St. Anna? That was, like, 3 years ago?
Oh, wow, that was him, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was him.
See, the weird thing is Spike Lee doesn't really do black movies anymore.
Well, that's a black movie. What do you mean, dude? That's like about...
I don't know, maybe my perception of black movies is just Madea now.
Oh, no, see, that's horrible, because
that's kind of what's happening.
Oh, or like Big Mama's House or something.
So, Spike Lee's doing the new Old Boy?
Yeah, he is.
That's gonna be interesting. Josh Brolin as the main character.
Yeah, I like Josh Brolin, so I don't know.
I do too. I just don't know how that's gonna go, but it could be pretty crazy, I guess.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Oh, I guess the one thing in defense of these movies that people keep kind of saying is like, oh, well, all those movies you like that have black people in them, like, Barbershop or Boys in the Hood and stuff like that, those are made by Hollywood, so they're actually white movies, basically. Like, they're all tailored to cater to your interests. And, like, that...
Okay.
Yeah, like, and it's just like, oh, well, I guess you have way more authority to speak on that than I do, so... maybe this whole time I thought I was, getting into that culture.
What do they mean when they're made by Hollywood, though? Like, by white writers?
Like, producers, really. Like, it's like, if in any way it's, like, tainted, I guess, in their view by kind of white influence, then it's not considered. Like, or at least, this is an opinion out there. Like, other people would be like, no, that's horrible. Like, this is what progress looks like with both people working together to make films. Like, that's fine. But like, yeah, the fact that...
Well, like, what they're saying is because Tyler Perry has
like,
his
he's
own
independently...
he doesn't answer to anybody.
Yeah, like, they're fully his thing. Like, it's his company, he's writing it, he's directing it, he's casting it and everything. Like, it's all him. So they're saying,
and then if
this is what real black cinema actually looks like.
Civil responsibility should be doing that then.
Yeah, like, but... Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, oh, if this is what real black cinema is like, that means there's a lot of, like, there's a lot of problems in that society. Like, I don't want to be judgmental, but you probably shouldn't be hitting your kids or scalding people. So
I'm just gonna say, if that's what black cinema is, I hate black cinema.
If that's what that is, like,
yep,
yeah, okay, because I don't know. Like, so far, every experience has been somewhat positive in this class, and then this one was like, oh my goodness, what is going on? So we'll see if this trend continues. I'm also gonna be watching Precious, which I've never wanted to see ever, but I guess
me neither.
We'll see what that's like.
I think I have that somewhere. Have you ever seen Higher Learning?
No. What is that?
Was that considered a black movie?
I don't know anymore. Like, a lot of the class is about, like, what defines blackness and does this qualify or not. And it's just like, I don't know.
What about The Fresh Prince?
I don't know.
Jazzy Jeff?
I did bring up Will Smith, and one of my responses is being like, this guy's doing it right, but maybe he's doing it wrong for his people. I don't know.
So, Donald Glover as Childish Gambino.
Yeah.
One of his lyrics that I actually like quite a bit was him saying something about how one day they'll be saying Tobey Maguire's the white
James Franco
Donald Glover or whatever.
James Franco, actually, but yeah.
James Franco, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, like, until the culture's gotten to, like, that point.
It's kind of egotistical,
right?
In a way, because, like, he doesn't have as much talent or, like, anything to his name, really.
Not yet.
He's a writer.
Yeah, and actually, but he just does not.
I mean, getting past all that, the sentiment behind it, like, he's talking about the day when people are saying they're the white version of something instead of the black version of something.
Right. Like, there's still, like, a casual racism that's just everywhere. Yeah, it's a fair point.
Is there anybody that's, like, the white version of Will Smith? Or is Will Smith just, like, the black version of white people?
I don't know. I haven't really thought over this issue. Johnny Depp, maybe. But
man, that would be weird.
Now, I'm just more thinking, like, in terms of career success or whatever, they've both been riding a pretty high wave lately. But
Will Smith and Johnny Depp don't seem to be in the same league to me, though. Like, in my mind, I can't make that connection.
Yeah. I might just be trying to, like, bring up 21 Jump Street or something, but I don't know.
Will Smith is really good.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to Men in Black 3.
That is one actor that, like, when I think of him, I forget he's black until I actually see him.
Well, what is that? Like, that's not that it matters, really, but yeah. Like, I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Of course that matters.
Oh, okay.
Why wouldn't it matter if we're talking about...
That seems to have, like, a connotation that, like, I don't even think about, I don't think he's black. It makes it sound bad or something. I'm just saying.
Well, it sounds the way it does, but I'd never think Ice Cube's white. Just as, like, his persona that he's created, the way he talks, like, everything.
Oh, the persona. Okay. She projects like a certain attitude that one associates with African-American gentlemen. I don't know how to talk about this without it sounding really weird. Two white dudes commentating on black culture.
Well, black culture kind of fascinates me just because, like, at this point, it's not defined anymore.
Yeah.
Because there was a time where it was like, oh yeah, no, that's black. Like, that's a black thing.
And now the lines are way blurry.
The lines are being blurred so much, and it's actually a really progressive time for thinking.
Yeah. Is Red Tails a black film, or is it a totally white film because George Lucas produced it?
Like, even just today on Twitter, someone was saying something about racism, like a black guy that I'm following or whatever, and he was saying something about how, like, putting time and effort and charities and stuff against racism and stuff like that is bullshit because there's better things to do it with, and how, like, racism sucks, but all it takes is time.
Yeah.
Like, even, like, black people are, like, understanding that, like, everybody's kind of racist in a way because everybody sees color just because of how...
Just practical reality or whatever?
Well, there's still black and white. There's going to be a point where we're all interbred and we're all going to be, like, a same color eventually as humanity, right? But as long as there's going to be distinctions between people, be it man, woman, black or white, or any, like gay or straight, there's always going to be distinctions made and stereotypes in a person's mind, and that's just kind of
like fear, just fear of the other or whatever, and anything that doesn't resemble you.
Maybe not necessarily. Yeah, fear of like the unknown because you don't relate right away.
Yeah. But, like, I think the more, like, the way we share culture and stuff with each other, it kind of won't matter. Like, that's kind of
that's kind of what I'm getting at. We're at a time now where, like, I honestly feel that with the right black person, I could probably talk about the word nigger, like, in terms of just the word, and, like, we could have a like normal discussion about it.
Well, we actually watched a film in Canadian documentary class from like 45 years ago, like 67, and it's like an interracial youth club in the 60s in Canada, though, in Halifax. And yeah, they do have a conversation along those lines of just kind of just the racism in their culture and stuff, and white and black just talking about it. It's just like, oh well, that's inspiring. I'm glad that can happen.
Right, but like at the same time, that's a class, and they're like talking about it. I'm talking about like with the right person on the street these days, like it's becoming more of a known thing.
Well, like comedians have really gotten that out.
If we look 20 years ago,
yeah,
like if I had just talked to any random black person on the street and tried to get a discussion about racism,
yeah,
I would probably be shot. Like tensions were higher.
Well, I don't know if in Canada.
Maybe not here in Canada, but like
in certain regions for sure.
Well, you know, I was too young at the time to really notice, but who's to say? I don't.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I wouldn't have noticed if it was happening even near me because it wouldn't be directed at me. You know, so
exactly.
I'm still not 100. Yeah, I'm not even. It's not fair to say like this isn't even a problem here. Maybe it is, but I think it's safe to say we just don't have the history and stuff. So it's probably not as big a deal.
Or do we not have the coverage as much as they do in the States?
Well, like we didn't really need a giant civil rights movement, right?
Exactly.
You know, like we didn't push it that far. So, yeah, like there's still some minor stuff like that movie I mentioned, Encounter at Quacha House, is like a bit of some stuff happened, like some like challenging employers on their racist hiring policies and stuff, but it was small scale in comparison. You didn't need 1 million people. But yeah.
I mean, I guess more than anything, don't be a dick and just like try to be friends with people.
Yeah.
Like just try to talk to people even if you don't like everybody. Maybe they'll have some impact on you.
There you go. Just more friendship. Just do that.
Yep. And with that, we're running out of time here.
Well, hold on. I just want to briefly oh, never mind. LeVar Burton's great. He's been doing this right for quite a while. Check that guy out. Reading Rainbow.
Yeah, he has been doing it for quite a bit.
Well, I just mean like, kind of finding common interests that just unite everybody. Like, it's just like everyone.
No, he was a great black role model for kids.
Yeah.
Like growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
He was great.
Like I wrote a bit of a thing about him too, because it just like throughout his career he seems to keep kind of advancing stuff like that. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, he totally does great work with that. It's just unfortunate that he's never really had a great career.
He's been on like a couple pretty influential shows. So like
I guess there was a time